You're watching PacWest TV right here at thepacwest.com. And here's a story for all our fans of the PacWest.
The fall 2012 PacWest season was definitely one to flip out about. There were so many outstanding efforts during the fall 2012 men's soccer season, for example. 4 new teams came into the league, including Azusa Pacific and Holy Names. The Cougars and Hawks joined Point Loma and Fresno Pacific to make it a 14-team conference, the biggest in the West region of NCAA Division II. And the coaches took note of just how good the PacWest had become.
We show it in the off-season, in the non-conference schedule. We were 8-4-1 against CCAA, who is a long-time #1 conference in the West region. We are the #1 conference in the West region now by these teams coming in. The Cal Baptist last year, Azusa Pacific, Fresno Pacific, Point Loma, Holy Names, all these teams that have come in, Fresno Pacific. I mean, this is great men's soccer program and some great coaching staff.
The conference season started with a big upset in the first week, with Notre Dame de Namur knocking off nationally ranked Grand Canyon in Belmont, California. That win would help propel the Argonauts into a berth in the NCAA regional tournament. For the first time ever, the PacWest got 2 teams into the regional field as the conference really took a step up this year. The other NCAA qualifier was the eventual PacWest champion. Grand Canyon bounced back from its early season loss to fight back to the top. The Antelopes used a many-pronged attack to continually make their move up the NCAA ladder. The Lopes finished the season #1 in the conference and made it all the way to the NCAA Super Regionals. PacWest Coach of the Year Peter Draxon kept his focus on the prize all year long.
I mean, it's just an incredible conference. We're the #1 conference in the West region with no doubt in men's soccer. At the same time, our non-conference schedule, it was incredible playing Fort Lewis, Cal Pacific, Sonoma State, Colorado Pueblo. It's about playing the top teams because if you go to postseason, that's what you're going to get, and we need to be ready for that.
GCU's eventual title didn't come easily as California Baptist, the reigning conference co-champion, battled for PacWest bragging rights all the way to the final match of the season. And newcomer Fresno Pacific made the strongest run to end the year, winning their last 12 matches in a row, 11 of those in conference play, to finish as the PacWest runner-up. Here's how the top tier finished in the PacWest in men's soccer, with GCU the champion, Fresno Pacific second, followed by CBU and NDNU tied for 3rd place. Azusa Pacific was 5th, defending co-champion HBU 6th, and Dominican and Hawaii Hilo tied for 7th. Over on the women's side, new schools in the 14-team conference made a real difference. Point Loma, for example, led the way in shutouts and great defensive play as the Sea Lions led the standings for a good part of the season.
And there's some GSAC schools that came in, and then you've got some of these existing PacWest schools. It's just going to be strong soccer again. Obviously, the conference has 14 teams, whereas what we come from had 11. So there's more teams to play through. But as far as the competition and whatnot, it's just strong all the way across.
Another story of newness was in San Rafael, where Dominican had a brand new soccer field this year, and the Penguins celebrated their new digs by finishing the year with a winning season. The PacWest automatic bid went to BYU Hawaii. The Seasiders advanced to the NCAA tournament for the 3rd time in the last 5 years with efforts like this in Laie. By the end of the PacWest women's soccer season, California Baptist successfully defended its title. The Lancers won their last 11 games of the regular season to finish with a 13-1 conference mark. In 2012, they are once again the champions in the PacWest. Here's the way the top tier of the conference standings finished up in women's soccer, with CBU at number 1 again, followed closely by runner-up Azusa Pacific. Point Loma finished 3rd, with BYU Hawaii 4th, GCU was 5th, then NDNU and Dominican and HPU tied for 7th place. What a season it was in PacWest women's volleyball as well. One of the premier matches happened in Riverside, California, on a night when California Baptist was presented with last year's Commissioner's Cup. CBU won 6 conference titles a year ago and was hoping that magic would carry over onto the volleyball court this fall. In a tense 5-set battle against nationally ranked Grand Canyon, the two teams went back and forth at the net in a game that seemed to go on forever. In the end, it would be CBU prevailing in extra points of the 5th and decisive set to win a thriller that was truly indicative of the high caliber of play in the PacWest women's volleyball this season.
Yeah, well, we've come a long way. You know, it's our second year in the PacWest, and we've just been waiting to get a team like this in our gym and just to kind of test ourselves to see where we're at. Fortunately tonight we came out on the top of it. On the night that we got the Commissioner's Cup is really, really special. You know, our president was here, all of our other student athletes were in attendance, and you know, we said before the start of the match that, you know, we need to do our part here to make sure that it stays here at CBU next year.
Despite its loss that night, Grand Canyon was one of the strongest teams in the conference this year. Head coach Chris Neighbor had her Antelopes playing at the highest level all season long. GCU went undefeated in its non-conference season and finished at number 2 in the West region, one of 2 PacWest teams seated at the top and headed to the NCAA tournament.
Postseason's almost a given now. You know, we don't even think about, oh, we have to make it, or I hope we make it. Now it's, we will make it. And then obviously from there, you know, we lost in the first round, so I want to make it to the second round. Once we make it to the second, I want to make it to the third.
But the title of the PacWest this women's volleyball season would go through Laie, Hawaii. In head coach Will Navalta's penultimate season, the Seasiders ran the table in conference play, winning 16 straight matches on their way to the PacWest Championship and the #1 seed and host spot of the NCAA Regional Tournament.
Don't look ahead. Our goal is to win the conference, go to region, win the regionals, then we'll think about nationals. But there's no question, yeah, the girls are playing at a very high level. We have the skills, we have the depth, you know, athletic ability. But the game of volleyball is momentum. You have to keep that consistency. BYU Hawaii's biggest test came on the road in Central California, where it faced newcomer Fresno Pacific in a match for the ages. This battle went to a 5th and deciding set before BYU Hawaii came back to win in 5 to preserve its unbeaten record. It was the only blemish on FBU's record in a stellar season for the Sunbirds. Here's how the final women's volleyball standings look, with BYU Hawaii at #1, followed closely by runner-up Fresno Pacific. CBU finished 3rd, GCU 4th, with APU and HPU tied for 5th place, and newcomer Holy Names ending up in 7th. It was indeed a great fall for all of our PacWest teams, including our men's and women's cross-country teams, which we showed you in a separate story from Kahuku, Hawaii. California Baptist defended its title in men's cross-country, while Azusa Pacific earned its first ever conference crown by taking home the championship plaque in women's cross-country. Congratulations to all of our outstanding student athletes and coaches and all our fall 2012 champions.